President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday said Nigerian opposition parties lost the 2023 general election because of their overconfidence in their abilities to win. According to the president, the integrity of the elections remains unquestionable, owing to the fact that his party, the All Progressives Congress, lost to the opposition in its traditional strongholds. Arise News analyst Mr. Dayo Sobowale joins us now to examine President Buhari's comments against the backdrop of established lapses that characterize the polls, claims by the Electoral Commission regarding technical glitches that affected the uploading of results to its public viewing portal. Good afternoon, Mr. Sobowale.
Good afternoon.
Now, it's always a pleasure to have you. Now, I'm going to use the president's exact words here, that the opposition's lost based on their combination of complacency, overconfidence, and bad tactical moves. Now, some analysts have deemed this rather, condescending and dismissive of efforts that were clear to see from the opposition parties. But I'm wondering what your take is on this.
Well, you can easily deduce that the president is in a very triumphant, humorous, and victorious mood. So those who have reservations don't bother him one bit. But then look at what he said, that the opposition lost due to overconfidence, complacency, and their over-reliance on foreign interests, who misled them that they were about to win. So in a way, the president is gloating at the victory of his party, which is to be expected. Because they say failure is an orphan, but victory has many fathers. He's claiming victory. And it is normal for somebody whose party is succeeding after 8 years to feel victorious. Of course, the glitches are there. They will not go away. And the cases are in court. But maybe the president is trying to do his best to enjoy himself and sound humorous, which is a rare virtue we have not seen in the last 8 years in him. To sound humorous
is there anything to be
happy
is there anything to be happy about? That's the question.
What?
Is there anything to be joyful about, humorous about?
Well,
the situation for some was life and death. For some was a breaking point.
Right.
So there's nothing to gloat about.
And that is your own viewpoint. This man is entitled to his mood. You get me? Even though most Nigerians don't agree with him. I don't agree with him. But then look at the way he put it. Even sometimes he said even his policy that changed the currency on the eve of the election, you get me? That he was happy about it because it meant that money cannot be spread around before. You get me? And that he is happy about that. That is his own sense of humor. And he has been our president. We elected him. He's entitled to his occasional burst of humor. I don't deny him that, even though the rest of us may not go along with him.
Now, some would say that when you said we elected him, some would take reservations to that because he too had attested to when he was elected that he will perpetuate towards a particular faction that voted him as against those that didn't vote him. But my own question, yes.
In the executive presidency,
yes,
the winner takes all. Whether you voted for him or not is
true. I'm just mentioning that.
8 years.
No, I'm just mentioning that by the side. My question to you is this. A lot of people say that by Mao, the sincerest president we've ever had has been Umar Yar'Adua, who himself in 2007 admitted that the elections that brought him to office had shortcomings and had pitfalls. And he said he would embark on electoral reforms to address that. It is rare for political office holders to attest to the fact that there are shortcomings. And some will say that what happened in the last election cycle was visible to the deaf. And
beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
This president is gloating. He's gloating that his party won, and that the opposition were overconfident. You get me? And he even went on to give the election. Hello?
Is he misguided by that?
I wouldn't know about that. You can only judge by his utterances.
By his utterances?
You have to be objective. Judge his utterances. I can't penetrate his mind. I don't have telepathy with him. But I can judge his utterances, even though I don't agree with them. Learn to, you don't have to agree with him. But learn to have a sense of humor like him, even though it is at the expense of the entire polity.
Well, Mr. Sobowale, earlier this week, we saw how what looked like a remorseful side of the president when it came to the terrorism aspect, where he said he was, sorry to basically apologize to the Nigerians who were, affected by the security situation. And now we're seeing a case where he's more or less gloating. So,
of course.
But the issues that plagued this last election were apparent. I'm just wondering, why do you think he couldn't possibly apply that same apologetic tone to an extent?
The only way I can read it is that he is blinded by self-interest and the need for him to claim a legacy that he has survived up to this stage. You see, you have peace, you have good peace, you have peace of the graveyard. It is your take, how you look at it. But this president is exulting in his achievement, even though we don't buy what he's saying. But that is it. Our own duty is to analyze, maybe perhaps why. He said the opposition lost because their tactics were not good. They were overconfident. But in his own case, his own party was confident but cautious. If I want to look at that, you may not agree with me. Even in his own party, he put obstacles on the way of his own party on the eve of the election. But the cautious person was the man who emerged as the president-elect, because he took pains and was extremely cautious and careful not to have any quarrel with this president. It was like trying to get the bull out of the China beer shop so that the place will not collapse. And eventually, he won the election. And then the president is claiming that he helped him to win the election. So what do you say to that?
No, but a lot of people have questioned and probably opined and probably asserted that the president likes to play the ostrich. Because
I agree with you on that.
Directions of events might be going one way, and he knows how to draw a sense of humor from everything that happens.
No, but I don't share a sense of humor.
No, I don't.
But somehow,
Neither do I.
This guy has spent 2 terms and he's going now. And he's going to conduct another census.
So my own question is,
yes,
he seems very, very happy to hand over power.
Yes.
He has even said it that he is tired. He can't wait to retire back home.
No matter the cost. You get me?
And
no matter our feelings or whatever.
And is that not a bad sign? Understanding that usually you want to achieve something and you feel sad to leave a place.
He lacks empathy, political empathy. And he feels the end justifies the means. But then, I would say we are talking about his mood. You get me? Even though I know your views is apparent from your views of this, the quality of the integrity of the election. But he said they were very credible, a very successful election. So what do you want to say to him?
If we deviate a bit,
the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
If we deviate a little bit from the aspect of the performance according to his assessment and look at what he said about security, he says that since 2015, his government has succeeded in equipping the security agencies as well as subduing the activities of terrorists, kidnappers, and other criminal elements in the country.
But wait, he didn't mention Fulani harassment there. Did you notice that? Yes. The one I read, he mentioned bunkers, kidnappers, and so on. Yes. And that they have subdued insurgents. But there is a very glaring issue involving grazing rights and Fulani harassment, which everybody knows has not been tackled at all. because of his bias in favor of the Fulani herdsmen. But then, if I can't remind him of that, these people cannot remind him of that because he wants to claim he's ready to go.
But I'm asking you, Mr. Sobowale, about his own assessment regarding security.
Yes.
About subduing things compared to what was the case in 2015. Do you see reason with that?
I don't see. Everybody knows that our insecurity is at its highest level ever, all over the country. In fact, that was part of what almost all the presidential candidates campaigned on, is that they will tackle Nigeria's insecurity.
Is at its lowest, you say? Not
yes.
You said highest?
Insecurity.
Okay.
Insecurity.
Okay, it's at its highest.
It's at its highest, yes.
Okay.
Everybody knows that. But you see, at times you know him better than me. You said the man is like a proverbial ostrich, which is said buried in the sand. See, I don't know how you take him, but I'm happy we're having a new, his tenure is ending, and we're having a new president-elect who has promised, like other presidential candidates, that they would take our security seriously and will not be presiding over the liquidation of our people all over the country by various militants.
He made a huge campaign promise. Usually, I take campaign promises with a grain of salt.
But he's going now.
No, I'm going somewhere. But when it comes to the lives of people, because the Chibok girls were a huge sticking point coming into 2015. And he promised they were going to be returned.
Did nothing.
Painful, it almost brought me to tears when I look back and looked at the amount of time that was swept away. 9 years between when they were abducted and some few weeks ago.
But
is that not enough to bury our heads in shame that we failed the upcoming generation? Because these were young girls that knew little about life, that they had their lives literally snatched away from them, and they had their life ripped apart. And 9 years later, instead of probably still mourning them, we have more casualties in terms of abductions than ever before.
Look, we have had more killings, kidnappings under this president more than any other president at any other point in time. But he's nearing the end of his tenure, and he is claiming some achievement, which we may not agree with. But then, they said every dog has his day. You get me? Mm-hmm. And everything that has a beginning must have an end.
True.
So that's the way I see it. There's nothing I can do to him about his claim on his achievements. But his posterity, history, will judge him.
Definitely.
Right.
Mr. Dayo Sobowale, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday. We appreciate your time and analysis as always.